Yes, I'm Kyle Odermatt, and I am the Visual Effects Supervisor for Wish.
How did you start your career in animation?
I got my start in the industry in visual effects. I worked for ILM for 3.5 years, and then moved to Disney Animation, but that was 27 years ago, so I've been there a very long time.
Yes.
And I originally came to do computer graphics on the hand-drawn films. My first film that I worked on there was Treasure Planet. And then the type of filmmaking over the 27 years has changed multiple times. And I've gotten a chance to work on many exciting projects over those years, including a return to hand-drawn with Princess and the Frog, which was a wonderful project. And another that was one of my favorites was Paperman, where we really combined hand-drawn and computer graphics in what I think is a very interesting visual look, as inspired by the director and the art director. And then I've gotten to work on so many incredible features lately that just a string of amazing movies that I feel blessed to work on every day, and wish to get to work on this 100th anniversary film is just such an honor, and we had such a great time making it, and I think people will feel that joy when they go to see it in theaters.
How did the idea for Wish come about?
Yeah, there's really is so many films over the years where our characters look to the sky and think about their life and think about what they are aspiring toward. And this film is really the culmination of that, where our heroine in the film, Asha, does look to the sky and wishes on the stars, and that actually manifests and comes to life. And so it's one of sort of the direct translation of an idea that's been there for many, many years in many films. And it seems very appropriate for this 100th anniversary film.
How was the stylized look of Wish achieved?
Yes, we are a director-driven studio and a production design-driven studio. So when we start these projects, my job as visual effects supervisor is to figure out what the directors are looking for, what the production designer is looking for, and then assemble a team and the technology to be able to achieve that. So here, where we were looking to the same illustrators that inspired Walt Disney back when he got his start 100 years ago, and worked with on those early projects, and trying to bring that imagery into a motion picture, that was kind of a daunting challenge. But we looked at things we had done recently in terms of stylized shorts or sequences on our films. We've done many stylized sequences within our films as well, and tried to figure out how we could take that illustrated style and make it move and make our characters perform in a way that would fit within an illustrated look, where any given frame looks like a watercolor illustration, and yet the camera can move, the characters can perform, and still hold that look together. And as I talked about, we had to come up with a very particular piece of technology to allow for having a texture that plays across our imagery, but does not feel like the texture is sitting static. And it's a hard thing to explain without seeing a visual. But our incredible technology team came up with a rather remarkable concept for dynamic screen space texturing that gives you that feeling of watercolor paper texture on any given frame, and yet the camera is free to move and our characters are free to perform, and it still holds together as an integrated image and has that illustrated quality.
And the lighting was also special for this film, right?
Yes, absolutely. And we found we had to do everything a little bit differently for the look of this film. And that's one of the things that we love, is we love a new challenge and we love to discover things. So in every case, we had to figure out, we know how to make movies in the style we've been making them, but we needed to know how we had to work differently to achieve this illustrated style. In many ways, it involved backing away from realism. So we have an incredible renderer that produces our imagery that can make incredibly realistic imagery, but we didn't use it for that. We used it to make something that had that flatter illustrated look by sort of getting rid of some of the information it could provide and calculating other information and then combining those together in the compositing process so that we got our lighters and compositors had very exquisite control over exactly the integrated look that we wanted between our characters and the environments in which they're performing.
What is your personal definition of animation?
For me, it is putting something up on screen that takes the viewer to the place that the director wants them to be taken. So it doesn't require realism, it doesn't require graphics. It is all about getting lost in a story, and that can be done in so many different ways. You just want to forget everything that's going on because you are totally engaged in what's in front of you. And that can take so many different forms, but that's one of the exciting things about being at a conference like this, where you see all forms of animation and all forms of artwork, and each one has its place, and each one can do that thing when it works well enough that you lose yourself in it. Thank you.